All right, here we go, you guys. Share. It's starting to storm out here, y'all. All right, here we go, y'all. Listen to this.
Hard to let go of what you've been holding on to for so long, even if it's not working anymore. It's really hard to let go. It's like, but this is how we're used to. He's going, no, I beg you, see it differently. I beg you to let go. It's not normal. It's just old. It's just old. That's just because you're used to it doesn't make it normal. So after he gets done telling them that there's a new way, somebody say there's a new way, a new way, a new way. That's what he opened by his blood. That's what he opened on the cross. That's what he opened along with his tomb. He opened a new and living way so that you could be, watch this, a living sacrifice. How does that even work? In order for something to be sacrificed, it has to die, right? The old way has to die for the new way to come alive.
Come on.
And that's what Paul is preaching in Romans. And then comes the verse that I really want us to sit with for a moment. In Romans 12, verse 2, Paul gives a didactic or a teaching or a lesson in letting go. He says, if you are going to hold on to the old way of doing it, and I don't know what that's going to mean to you after I get done preaching this, you will have to reflect on that. I don't know if it's the way you communicate. I don't know if it's something in this season that it actually quit working a long time ago. Man, we have like 3 clocks hanging around our house that haven't told time in years. I don't know why they're still hanging there. It's probably more trouble to take them down. So we rather have something that doesn't work on the wall than take 5 minutes and bring it down.
Come on.
And a lot of us are stuck in something that is old. And we froze at a point in time where it's like, okay, this is what I have to do. And for those of us who are used to doing it a certain way, when God brings us a new blessing, it looks like a threat.
Come on.
And we can't receive it because of what we can't release.
Come on.
I feel anointed like I'm 17 years old preaching my first sermon. I love the word because he said, I urge you, brothers and sisters, in view of God's mercy, to offer yourself living sacrifice. This is your proper and true act of worship.
Right.
So, verse 2 in that context says, do not conform, write that word down, conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed. LB, don't push me. I don't want to preach right now. I want to teach. Be transformed. Conform. Transform. Now, you don't need me to do this for you, but I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to write both of those words on a flashcard. Come on, we're homeschooling. We're homeschooling. We're homeschooling. Graham, present. Abby, present. Holly, present. If you're here, say present. Come on, class is in session. Come on, class is in session. Say it in the chat. Present, 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 present. I'm here, I'm here, I'm here, I'm here for it, I'm here for it. All right, I'm gonna write this down. Last week, y'all were making fun of my handwriting. Somebody said that my R in the word normal looked like a 12, and you're exactly right. The question is, did I do it on purpose to illustrate the 12 tribes of Israel? I guess you'll never know. Yeah, it's just 2 ways of looking at it. One is conform and one is transform. I just wanted to write them down. Y'all please get past my calligraphy and get the point, okay? This is the right way. This is the wrong way. And what makes it right and wrong is this one, conform, is the way the world works from the outside in. This one, transform, is the way God works from the inside out. And here's how the Lord was showing me the other day. He said, in this season, remember, there's a lesson in letting go. In this season, I am teaching you to learn to set your agenda from within.
Come on. Ooh.
To be guided by the Holy Spirit. To let me fulfill my purpose for your life. now that your plans have been interrupted.
Woo.
This is really hard because one of the things we're having such a difficulty with right now is we haven't even had the funeral for what we expected this year to be.
Woo.
And now you got a preacher up here talking about having faith for what's going to happen next. And this causes me to really sympathize with the Israelites, you know? They were leaving Egypt and they had to rush out in the middle of the night. They had to leave so quickly. They never got to say goodbye. You're like, well, they didn't want to say goodbye. Of course they did. Even though it was killing them, it was what they knew. So what we're dealing with right now is a lot of us, our plans got canceled and we didn't even get to say goodbye. Even if it isn't really what we wanted, it's what we knew. And when you don't get to say goodbye, you don't get closure. So now I'm living in this space where I thought I was going to get to walk down the aisle with my daughter and marry her this year. Not you, I'm talking to somebody else. I thought I was going to get to go, be at my graduation. I had some momentum in my business. I was working on this deal. I was working on that thing. I was actually getting my act together. I had this and that and the other. And no sooner did the year start until you had to bury it and trust God with it. And we didn't even get to say goodbye.
My God.
So this is a challenge.
Yeah.
Of letting go. Letting go of something when you don't even know what you're reaching for yet. I mean, if you ask me to let go of broccoli for briars, I can do it. Because I like what I'm grabbing more than what I'm letting go of. But what if it's a mystery box? I don't know about this yet. I don't know. You're talking about a new normal. I don't know about that. Now, we all have moments of both. We all have moments where we're like, man, this is actually kind of nice. Everything got canceled. It's kind of nice. I kind of needed to get a break, man. Now it's like a forced break on all of humanity. It's like a global snow day. Unless you're sick or someone you love is sick, or unless something dries up that you were depending on, or unless it might. So we're going back and forth. It's like, I want to get back to normal, but I kind of want to go into something new. It's like, man, I can't wait for everything to get started back again, but it is kind of nice having meals with my family. I wasn't doing that before. Hey, I kind of need some job stability, but you know what? I've been wondering if I really even want to work there anyway. I don't know which one. I'm trying to find my balance in between. Now, the lesson of letting go is not only that external events cause us to let go, but the way God changes us is transformation from the inside out. Isn't that really relevant while you're stuck inside? That's the way God changes things? The way the world works from the outside in. Oh no, what's the job market doing? What's the economy doing? When are they going to lift this and when are they going to lift that? The way God does it is like you got Paul and you got Silas, and they are stuck in an inner cell. But when they are stuck in a tight space, it's the moment that they understand we've got to give God the greatest praise in the tightest space. This is a time for more faith, more hope, more optimism. Your anchor has really got to grab hold right now because you don't know what's next. And that's where God lives, in the mystery. And yet our old mind, our conformed mind, this is the way it's supposed to work. Is it possible that God is trying to get you to unlearn the way the world works? So you can see how he works? What does God want me to unlearn? I can't handle it anymore. Sure you can. If you loosen your grip. If you believe that he's with you no matter what the next season looks like. You could bench press. How much do you bench, Chris? 305? You could bench press 395.
He's not open.
You could lift it if you weren't gripping it so tight. You could lift it. You could lift it if you weren't gripping it like this. He said it's your grip that's hurting you, not the weights. You're actually strong enough. Christ is actually in you. You actually have a new nature. Now you just need a new normal. You have a new heart. You just need new habits.
Yeah.
What's in front of you is greater. You just got to let go of some things that you know. And I don't want to do it either. I like what I know. That's why I know I'm eating hamburger, steak, and green beans from Cracker Barrel, because that's all I ever eat. I don't even have to ask what she ordered me. I like what I know. God, do a new thing, but make it just like what I've known before.
Mercy.
And so when we get knocked off our balance, that's from the inside. That's how God transforms it. He destabilizes the outside in order to strengthen the core. That's what he's doing in my life right now. He's teaching me to release. Release. If you would just do it physically, you could feel what I'm saying. Get the tightest grip you can right now, right there. I mean, to the point where you feel your blood and your toes cutting off because everything in you is constricted. And that's how your soul feels right now. This is how your mind is. You're closed-minded. Keep the tight grip now. This is a illustrated point. This is a, what do you call it when you teach things by showing them? This is an object lesson. That's it. It's an object lesson. Grip it so tight you feel like you can't take it anymore. And now release. Woo. That's what's going to happen when you look around at what you have left instead of dwelling on what you've lost.
My God.
Release. What do you want me to release, Pastor Stephen? Not the steering wheel. Don't release that. Just release your need to know.
Woo.
And once you release that, look how much strength you have. Come on, do it right there. I wish somebody would start pressing something right now. Forgetting what is behind and straining toward what's ahead. It's not going to be easy. Freedom is not easy. He told Moses it wouldn't be easy.
My God.
He told him it's not going to be easy.
My God.
When all you've known is bondage, blessing seems strange. When all we've known is busy, rest feels like something to be resisted.
Come on.
When all we've known is worshiping idols, worshiping the true and living God who lives within, feels foreign.
Woo.
But God said, you have the strength that you need if you will release what you can't carry, what you can't control. That's what he's teaching me, the lesson of letting go. Hey, thank you for...
Well. That's all I got to say. You hear me? That's all I got to say. All right. So what we're going to do, everybody, appreciate you guys chiming in. Yeah, that was lit. I hope that helped you. And I really think that this is going to set up for the lesson that we're going into. However, she's asked me to play a song before I introduce her. So I want you guys to just hang in there with me. All right. Y'all know God is moving. He's always moving. We just love him. And so here we go. Listen to the song and let it bless your life.
There's a secret method that
after days information commercials.
Insiders.
Here we go, y'all.
2 Peter 1:3 tells us that God has given us everything that we need for life and godliness through our knowledge of him. I have everything.
I have everything I need. I have everything I need.
Thank you, Jesus.
I have everything I need.
Because the great I am.
The great I am provides for me. The great I am provides for me.
Your strength is made perfect in all ways.
are my strength when I am weak. You are my strength when I am weak. You are my strength when I am the great I am provides for me. The great I am provides for me. The great I am is everything that I need. Whoever I need,
Yes, God. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. So this is the song that she requested that I share with you guys. I want you guys, if you guys are able to please show me your faces and let's welcome the teacher for tonight that I had a chance to meet at release. She's been attending, she's been coming, she's calling me Mama D2. And I'm so grateful because I've actually seen her in person in ministry at the release, and she was so powerful. I'm hoping she'll share some of her testimony because she definitely does not look like what she's been through. That's all I got to say. So I cannot wait. I'm excited. Everybody unmute yourself and everybody say, let's go, Tomeka. Let's go, Tomeka. Let's go, Tomeka.
Let's go, let's go, let's go. Let's go.
Let's go.
Yeah.
All right. I'm in it with a high pitch. All right, so I'm going to mute myself so you can have the floor. It's an honor and a privilege to be with you, girl. 2 weeks ago, you're a powerhouse, and we're excited what God is about to do. All right, I'm going to mute myself.
Good evening, everybody. Can you guys hear me? Okay, awesome. I am in my car. It's quiet, and this is my second office. So I'm excited to share with you guys tonight. I just ask that you open your hearts and your minds to receive what it is that I have to share. I'm not a hollerer. I'm not a hoop and hollering type of person. I like just like we're just sitting down talking to each other. So that's kind of how I am. And that's kind of how God talks to me. It's like I'm sitting down talking to him and we just pretty much carry a conversation. And so the topic that I have for this evening is called, the subject is fearfully and wonderfully made. And so that caused me to look at myself very in a totally different mind frame from what I assumed at first. Because when Mama D told me, I was like, oh, okay, fearfully wonderfully made, easy, that's songs, that's gonna be like totally easy, I got this. And then I tried to start that way, and then God was like, okay, for real, seriously, this is what you're gonna do. And so he checks me, and he checks me quite often. But I'm grateful that I have a relationship with him where I can recognize that he's checking me and that I'm not too far away to be checked to where I'm not able to get back to him. So he gave me some things to share, and I hope that it changes not only your mindset about how you see yourself, but how you see others as well. So the first scripture that I have is John 10:10, and it's a popular scripture. It's the thief comes only to steal, kill, and destroy. I have come that they may have life and have it to the full. And that's the NIV version. And so when he gave me that, that showed me and helped me to realize that everything that I see with my eyes is not what I see. A lot of times we tend to look at ourselves in a way that God doesn't see us. And so we take that in and we realize we're operating at a lesser value than what he's called us to be. And the sad part is that the enemy knows what's in us. He knows what we're made of. And because we believe the hype, we believe the smoke screen that's in front of us, we don't really fully see who God has called us to be, which is why, I mean, the enemy's he's on his job. That's what he does, 24/7, 365 days of the week. None of his employees take off. None of his employees call in sick. They don't give excuses. I mean, they ride hard. So they're always on their A game. And it's so easy for us as believers to think that we fall short because we're exhausted or we're tired or we're burnt out. And then the enemy will paint a picture to us that is a sign of weakness when it's merely we're just weary and we just need a little bit of rest to rejuvenate. Because even when people go to fight battles, I mean, I was in the military, but my favorite movie is Sparta 300. And I mean, they were the bomb, but they had times throughout their battles where they had to rest. And even when God created the earth, he took a day of rest. And rest is not a weakness. It's merely for us just to be restored and renewed. So John 10:10 is to recognize who the enemy is and recognize that who we are in him. So I like to cook. I like to eat. I'm a foodie. I love food. I love good food. And so when I think of fearfully and wonderfully made and how God created us, I think of things that we cook. Like I love chicken. I love fried chicken. I love baked chicken. I love barbecue chicken. Either way it's cooked, I love it. But I don't like when people substitute ingredients because it makes the chicken nasty. You know, it's like, that's like somebody using imitation crab meat. You know, it's just disgusting. I want the real thing. And so God, when he thought about each and every one of us, he thought about how he was going to make us, how he wanted us to be, what characteristics he was going to give us. I mean, I pictured it was like he has this big old kitchen with all these things and he's making us. And he's not using great value products. He's not using private selections from Kroger because he's trying to save some change. You know, he's not using produce that's about to go old, you know, and he just want to go ahead and use it. He picked like the premium most, and it's not what costs the most, it's what is the best, the absolute best. And he had a different concoction for each and every one of us. Now with us, sometimes we'll substitute a lot just for sake of just saying it's done. And that's not so, because you cannot make banana pudding without using real bananas. That's disgusting. You can't, I mean, you can't do that. So you can't serve God halfway. And that's like you're an intercessor, but you don't pray. How's that possible? That's disgusting. That's a banana pudding with no bananas, you know? And so it's like making a pizza with no type of crust, no dough. It doesn't make sense. But yet we try to use substitutions and pass them off like it's something that it really is, and it's absolutely not. And most of the time, majority of the time, it's because we forgot who we were. We forgot how he created us. We forgot who he's called us to be. We forgot that he didn't cause us to settle. And it had me to look at myself, where in my life, in certain situations, that I say, okay, Tomeka, it's okay to settle. I mean, you've been in a relationship before, it didn't work out, so it's okay if they do this. You know what I'm saying?
Come on, Tomeka.
It's okay to accept this. It's okay to say, okay, well, you know what? He hit me this time, or she hit me. Yep, she hit me this time. So she was just upset. We validated like it's okay, but then at the same time, we're like, okay, so I'm worth being treated like this. I'm worth being talked to, you know, wet. When if a stranger talked to me wet, it's a whole different story. But this is coming from, you know, something different. So God's like, I didn't, you know, I don't treat you like that. I've never said anything negative to you. And the things that I've said to you, I've said them out of love and kindness to chasing you, just simply to love you and show you what it is to be loved. And so we accept from other people the great value. We accept those things. And what bothered me was when I looked at certain things from the past in the present, it was like no more. Like I really settle for that. Sure, why did I settle for that? And it's like, how can you tell someone not to settle when you're settling? That's impossible. I mean, because I know that when I've gone through things in my life, you cannot preach to me or tell me anything if you hadn't walked through it, because I'm going to come to you and I'm going to say, hey, you know, I battle with, you know, depression and, you know, attempted suicide. And I know when I start feeling a certain kind of way that, you know, what can you offer me besides prayer? I need help with this. You know, can you help? And you say, girl, I don't know. I ain't never been through nothing like that. So I'm not ashamed of anything that I've been through. And that's the way that the enemy keeps us, is by sprinkling shame on things that we've been through. So there's no shame. Because why? Because I'm fearfully and wonderfully made, because he created me. Anything that I went through is part of the ingredients that was just in the makeup of how I was made. It's just in the makeup of how you were made. None of us is beyond doing great things. We cheat ourselves, and we allow the enemy to cheat us when we fall short and we settle. That's and that's his job. I mean, that's what he does. I mean, we're in a society where we can pray openly, we can praise and worship so freely, other than places where I've deployed where you couldn't, where they couldn't. I could, where they couldn't. And it's like, wow. And we go places, and it not even really go places. You could be sitting in your car and you're like tapping your steering wheel, like, you know, but then you like, hold up, I'm breathing. I'm in my right mind. I have activities on my limbs. I don't think I slept outside last night. I don't think I had to eat out of a trash can. If I got a headache, I can go to the doctor because I have insurance. I'm able to flush the toilet and the stuff actually goes down. I don't have to walk to a well to get clean water. Clean water is not an issue for me. Having something to eat is not an issue for me. For me to go to sleep and fully rest in him is not an issue for me. But in past times, those were issues for me. So when we say, oh, God is great, it should be with our hearts. It's our heart. It should jump out of our hearts of just how good God is, because our situation could be so worse than what it is. It's like, hey, my bank account ain't where I need it to be, but I'm not hungry. I'm not walking around naked and ashy. I was able to shower today because he promised that he would take care of me. He would give me everything that I need. And he you know, he gives me things that I want when he feels I can handle them and that I'll do right with them. And so a lot of times the main thing that he gave me is that we cheat ourselves. We cheat ourselves so much, because even when we shop and we go grocery shopping, we substitute our groceries because of how much money we have in our pocket. You can pay 95 cents for a pack of hot dogs. Now, you and I both know them hot dogs is probably nasty, which I don't buy 99-cent hot dogs. But a pack of hot dogs for 99 cents. But you gotta pay $1.29 for a good cucumber. It's just things that are premium that we lack for. We say, okay, I'm gonna sing this song in worship, but if I apply prayer to it, and I apply a relationship, and I apply all these good ingredients, oh my God, what is it going to make? It's going to create something wonderful. What can it create? It creates somebody's freedom, not just somebody else's freedom. It can create your freedom. Can it also create healing? Yeah, prayer, belief, healing, fasting, the word, you know, a surrender life, all that stuff mixed together. What is it going to create? Oh, it's going to create miracles, signs, and wonders to those who believe. And if we're all together and we all have, hey, I don't have what you got, but do you got a little bit of faith? Because my faith is running short. I need this. Do you have some faith that you can offer to me? I got some faith. I'm not asking for all your faith. You know, you just give me a little sprinkle bit. I mean, you know, let me get a little bit of sprinkle of that faith, and we're going to see what God going to do. But sometimes we stingy with our ingredients. For what? We serve a limitless God. We serve a God that created the whole earth. And our faith should never be wavered, because each and every one of us get in our cars, we drive, we walk, we sit down, we go to sleep, and the earth still revolves. There's no string. There's not someone holding the earth or holding Mars, holding all the planets together. And we walk around and we live our lives, but yet we shake in fear of our faith. And we shouldn't, because like we're all sitting here on Zoom, the earth is still turning. And I don't think anybody's worried about what happens if it falls, or what happens if it stops turning. We just live our life because it's like we just know. And that's how our relationship should be with God. I just know my daddy got this. I just know. I just know that he's gonna come through for me. But I have to have a relationship with him so that I know which direction to go. I need to know when to use too much salt and not enough salt. I need to know if I want to spice things up with some cayenne, or some, slap your mama seasoning. I need to know these things. He's going to tell me these things. And so it's like the relationship, we lose our relationship when we start listening to what other people say we are. And it's basically what they feel we deserve. And if we don't think highly of ourselves, if we don't feel that we're called, why should people have to constantly say to us, God loves you. He's thinking of you today. Not a believer. We all have those moments, but my sister, if she see me slipping, she should be like, girl, God loves you. Girl, he thought about you this morning. He put flowers outside. He loves you. Or your brother, you see him slipping. Boy, God loves you. He thought about you this morning. You went and got that fresh haircut. You done got lined up and all that. Ooh, look what God did. Look what God did. But we don't do that. We get caught up in our own selves, and we forget to encourage each other that we're fearfully and wonderfully made. We're not junk. We're not yard sale material. We're not Goodwill material. People give to Goodwill. They just Goodwill the stuff you don't want. We're not Goodwill. We're made in the biggest kitchen of the ever. And when you think of different things like the ocean, there's no depth to the ocean. There's all kind of creatures in there, some that we know about, some we don't know about. And that just shows us how powerful God is. Not just the creatures in the ocean, but the ones that walk the land, and they're called endangered species and all these things. They're made up so different ways, so many different ways and different kinds, but yet the animals, they depend on God. They don't depend on us to feed them. We serve a God that is never exhausted. He's never too busy. He's never on the other call. His signal never goes out. And so it's like, why settle? If we're fearfully and wonderfully made, why settle? I don't like, I don't like Walmart chicken. It's disgusting. I don't know what they use in it. I like Popeye's chicken. Sometimes, depends on who's cooking. I like things that are good. I like things that are nicely made, that are different. The same taste buds. None of us have the same taste buds. Some people like Dairy Queen, some people don't like Dairy Queen. Some people prefer Baskin Robbins. We all have different tastes. We all are different. My point is that we're all like, she talking about recipes. We all are different in so many ways, but yet we all are useful. And none of us can be substituted. What he's called me to do, he's not going to call somebody else to do at that time, at that appointed time, because that's what I'm supposed to do. If I'm supposed to have help, I'm supposed to have help, because the job is too much for me to where I'm going to need help. One person cannot build a house by themselves. Now, I don't know how you're going to hold a piece of plywood up, hammer and saw at the same time and you only got 2 hands. Impossible. When he said we were fearfully and wonderfully made, he said that we were unique. He said that we were priceless. He said that we were valuable. The person that's supposed to be fearful of us is the enemy. And he knows that. And he knows that if we all come together, how his crew comes together, he is ultimately defeated. So his job is to steal, kill, and destroy. And with him stealing, killing, and destroying, his plan is to divide us all, to believe that we're alone, to believe that there's no one there to help us, to believe that all these things is to divide us, to depend on self. And when we depend on self, we fail miserably. We fail miserably. And that's just not how God intended things to be. Nowhere in the Bible was anybody perfect. No one. No one in the Bible was perfect. No one in the Bible was perfect. Yet God still came to see about them. Even when they weren't even trying to hear him. They weren't trying to hear him. They weren't trying to see him. They was trying to do their thing. God still came to see about them. And that's the cool part about the God that we serve, that he comes even when we can't even recognize how bad off we are, that he'll come and see about us, to see what we need, to give us what we need so that we can do what it is we need to do. And a lot of times with us, well, for me, my things resolve around my faith. I have to constantly remind myself of my faith, and it's not like I need something to come through, or I'm trying to figure something out, or I need clarity, or I'm not understanding. And I remind myself, okay, well, the people, they walked around the building 7 times and they came together on faith for God to drop that wall. I'm not alone. The people who, when they were leaving Egypt, for Moses to part the Red Sea, he parted that Red Sea not from himself, but because of his faith. I'm believing God to do great and mighty things in my life, but I don't know how they're going to manifest. But the people knew that there were going to be a king, and so they followed, the 3 wise men followed that star, and the king was born, and he was born, and he was a savior to them all. And so it's like, there's so many examples, but where, Lord, I don't feel that I'm worthy of anything that you're doing in my life, or I don't even feel worthy to even say that you're my God, and that you can use me. You can really use me, someone so filthy and someone who's fallen short and doubt themselves, that you can actually use them. And he says, yes, I can use you. I used Paul. You did? Yeah, Paul. Okay, for real. So I had to find out about Paul. I had to look at Paul and look at his Bible, and I was like, man, okay, so Paul, my dude. I can relate to Paul, even though yet I just be feeling like, no, I am just Tomeka. And God says, you are more than just Tomeka. You are worthy. Song of Solomon 4:7 is my favorite scripture, because even though I may feel like there are parts of me that are broken, there are parts of me that are damaged, there are parts of me that are bruised, that are cracked, and all these things, and it's like, I'm cracked in so many places, I can't hold anything. And God says, it's not for you to hold. At this time, it's not for you to hold. Spend some time with me and let me feel those cracks so that you can be made whole. And it doesn't matter how many times you're cracked. I'm going to continue to fill you up. But if I don't believe I'm worthy of that, I'll continue to walk around broken, trying to pour from something that's cracked and not feed anybody. So it's like, my mindset, it has to be changed. It has to be renewed on a daily basis, because it's like, it's always something sitting there. I should never withhold my praise or my prayer from God because I'm breathing. What excuse, if you're breathing, what excuse do you have not to pray? What excuse do you have not to praise and worship him, or just even say thank you before you say, God, can you God, this morning you woke me up, Lord. Can you and he like, for real? Good morning. Someone didn't get to say good morning. Someone don't even know if it is morning. So I thank God so much, because he could have chosen a different route for me. He could have left me in my own mess, in my own loneliness, and me being lost, stuck in confusion and all this stuff. And my thing for years was that I blamed it on other people. I validated my attitude, my mindset, my thought process based upon what other people did to me. And I felt like it was valid because they did it and not because I did it. And so on a couple instances, I asked God, and I was like, God, but they did this. So I'm not going. And he was like, really? I was like, God, you don't know what it's like for people just to be lying on you all the time. And you say, I can't do this, and I can't punch such and such, and I can't just snap off. And he's like, but did you forget about when I went on a cross? And I had to think about that. He went on the cross for us, people he didn't know, none of that. But to endure all of that, I'm honestly saying I could not have endured none of that. I totally could not endure that. One, it was extremely hot. Two, you think about carrying that heavy piece of wood, that cross, that far. Three, let somebody spit on me. Who's gonna let somebody spit on them? And it's hot, and you carrying something heavy, and you're being accused of something you did not do, and you know you didn't do it. On top of that, the same people that are cussing you and doing all these things to you are people that you went out on the limb to help. I'm so glad that the Lord chose for me to be on the earth in 1980 and not back then. And I thought about that because I went through a situation a couple years ago, and I felt like that. I was ready to bam some people up. I was like, you know what? I only been saved a couple years. You know what I'm saying? I'll just, take an L for a little bit and just do this. But the thing was, God had to remind me of where I missed him telling me not to do or to leave the situation that I was in. I took a job. I took a really good job. And what the enemy does, he will paint this big, old, beautiful picture. And I apply for the job, and I'm thinking, yes, he hears our prayers too. I'm like, I'm praying for this, pray for that, fasting for this, fasting for that. And I'm like, yes, God. Oh, God. Okay, so God, I got the interview. Lord, I'm just asking God that as I go into this interview, Lord, that you be with me, God. May you touch their minds and I'm doing all this stuff, and I'm thinking it's of God. And I didn't wait for a reply, nothing. I'm telling him what I'm doing. And so I'm like, I get the job. I get my office, I get my desk, and it's going great. And I'm like, yes, yes, yes. And I'm doing all these things. And then it's like slowly I'm working overtime. So I'm not really at church as much as I used to be. So I'm like, but I gotta work. I'm telling my pastor, I gotta work, they asking us to work overtime, so I'm gonna have to work a little bit. And he's like, oh, I understand, the first time, second time, And then later on, it was like things with the job start falling through. And I'm like, what's going on? But the paycheck is looking really good. And it's taking care of the things that I've asked God to take care of. I'm able to be a blessing to my family. I'm able to be a blessing to my friends. I'm able to be a blessing to my ministry. I'm able to be a blessing to others. So this is what, you know, it's supposed to be some bumps. Okay. Yeah. But I missed the fine print when I took the job. And that's what the enemy will do. He'll sit there and cloud and give you all these smoke signals to where you go ahead and sign, and you miss that little bitty small print. And that small print will cause you to forfeit so much stuff to where you're like, when it happens, you're like, wait a minute, I didn't see that. And he's like, yeah, you did, right there. And then you look, and it's that fine print that says, but I, So I went through a season where it was just total lies. And I was like, man, I was like, hold up. I was like, you know what? I'm not even finna do church people, none of that, because when I wasn't even thinking about none of this, I wasn't going through nothing. I was straight. But I was lost. I didn't know who I was in different aspects of my life. I was just accepted any and everything. And so God was like, okay, so you're complaining about this. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, you help people. Yeah. Some people you help. Yeah. Yeah. And he kept bringing me back to the cross. And I was like, there's no way I could have done that. And so I ended up apologizing to him. Like, I really tried to compare myself to being on the cross, and you didn't even know who I was, and you just so willingly, because at any time he could have just said, you know what, I ain't doing this. I'm gonna go ahead and rewrite history and redo it another way. But he still did it. And he thought that when he put me together and he put all of us together, that he put us together with great things. He didn't put us together with junk. He didn't put us together with scraps. And we operate sometimes as though we're made with scraps. We shortchange ourselves so much. I blamed all these people for things that was going on in my life. And I was like, they're not, my coworker is not my enemy. My boss, the lady in traffic that don't know how to merge, is not my enemy. The person at Walmart that can't read right is not my enemy. I need to take a chill pill, get myself together, and be like, okay, she don't know how to merge. All right, I need to listen to some Thai tribute or something, because traffic is, yeah. No, okay, so it's gonna be a Hillsong day. Okay, yeah. Okay. So then I get to work and my coworker is just talking mad smack. And this happened last week. My coworker was talking mad smack. And I looked at her, I said, look, you're salty today. I said, we're not gonna work no 4 hours being salty. I was like, look, I don't know what happened before you got here, but I'm gonna pray that the rest of our day be good so that we can have a good shift and get the job done. I said, because you ain't got time for it, and I ain't got time for it. Now the old me, boy, that shift would have been drawn out all day. And so when I started back working, I was like, okay. Because at first I'm finna clock out and go home. And she say one more thing to me out the way, I'm finna go home. And I was like, I'm not finna go home. I need my coins. I said, look, today ain't finna be, I said, no, we're not finna do this. And she was like, and then it got quiet for a few minutes. And she looked at me and she went and talked to the supervisor. And she was like, Tomeka said, and she said, well, yeah, she's pretty direct. And she said, she came back and she was like, well, you know, I woke up late this morning and this, and this. And I was like, oh, okay. I said, well, we all have those days. You need to get you some coffee or something, you need a few minutes, you know, let me help accommodate you, because our purpose is to get the job done and get it done right. That's it. See you later when it's time to clock out. When we working in ministry, same thing. Somebody is salty. What you salty for? We're supposed to be the salt. You put just the right amount of salt on French fries. Don't be too salty now. We got to serve God's people. What's going on? Something going on? What's going on? And they like, well, you know, this, and this. Like, oh, that's it. I got faith. Okay, okay. She got oh girl, you know she always praying. Okay, so we got what you need so that you can do what you need to do. And a lot of times is we're carrying stuff that's not even ours. We have our own stuff to carry, then we try to carry other people's stuff, then we got stuff from our past, and then we got stuff from our job, and then we got stuff that we don't need. We got like this little junk bag that we don't, you know, it's just a whole bunch of stuff in there. And then we're constantly trying to carry it and carry it and carry it, and it's weighing us down, and we get weak, and we're like, man, but in our mind, we like, I can carry this because the Lord said, greater is he that's in me. He didn't intend for that. He didn't intend for us to carry other people's stuff. And then every time we go in this presence, and it's not just when we in a service, that's an opportunity for us to lay it down. And we tell him, no, I think I can carry it a little bit longer. You know, I'm a little bit, my shoulders is a little bit conditioned for this. And it's not. Because it's causing your mind to waver in who you are and what you're supposed to be doing. It's not. It's like trying to make one trip to the grocery store and carry all 15 bags on one arm. Who finna do that? Your arm finna fall off when you get to your front or your side door. And I watch my son try to do that all the time. My kids, I just look at him. I'm like, if you just ask me to help you, I'll help you carry some of them bags. If you want to go ahead and struggle with all them bags, I'll watch you while your arms shake. And the Lord does us like that. We tell him what we're going to carry, and he say, oh, okay, so you're going to carry her issues, your issues, their issues, that you're going to carry their infirmity, you're going to carry their bondage, you're going to carry, oh, okay, I'm about to watch you carry it. I'm going to watch you go and try to carry all that. And then when we about to break down, like we done had it, but we done had it because somebody else done saw we done had it, that we at our ends, then that's when we want to say, oh God, help me, oh Lord. And then we pick through what we feel like we can pick up. Even though the person that's helping us get rid of it, we'll still look back and be like, well, I can pick that up. That's not too bad. You know, I'm gonna go and pick that back up because I might can fix that. But you couldn't fix it because it was causing your bones to be jacked up, and it was giving you arthritis. But you're still trying to carry it. Why? Because your mindset says, I can do this. God has given us a mindset to where what's healthy and what's not healthy, what's of him and what's not of him. And we get it clouded when we start believing that what the enemy tells us is what it is, and it's not. It surely is not. So the enemy is not concerned about us being lost. He's not concerned about us being distracted. He's not concerned about us being busy. He's not concerned about none of that. He's not concerned about us sitting there writing in our journals. He's not worried about none of that. He's worried when we start putting it into action, and when we start connecting to other people, and we start making things come forth. And when things start coming forth, it's awesome when things begin to come forth because they're supposed to. It's in God's plan. But another part of us is we're supposed to pray that it continues, that it bears fruit to feed others, not just to give us a one table seating. It's supposed to continue to produce. People blow the scripture out of proportion of producing and bearing fruit. They say, oh, that's just, that's just pertaining to having kids. No, it is not. It surely is not just about making kids. It's about taking care of the earth. We should be able to eat from the earth. It's about being smart financially wise with our finances and being good stewardships and investing right and helping to be able to help take care to have an economy that flows the right way. It's about us taking care of our bodies. It's about us having good mental health. The fruit is supposed to be a whole bunch of stuff. It's not supposed to be just kids. So we bring kids into the world with no substance. It makes absolutely no sense. So God says we are fearfully and wonderfully made. And one of the ways that we're able to continue to do that is to continue to have a relationship with him. Is to continue to devote ourselves to him in prayer, to be watchful, to be thankful, not only just watchful and thankful, but to apply it. We can have a kitchen full of stuff and never use it. Or we could cook a whole bunch of food and never feed anybody, and it just spoil and go to waste. We're supposed to be feeders. We're supposed to produce and give out. My prayer is that when I leave, God, he recognizes me. I really want him to recognize me. I want him to know who I am. I don't want him to be like, who? Tomeka who? I don't know you. You can depart from me. Or like my son say, bruh, I don't know you. I will be crushed to know that I was in a life that I didn't believe, I didn't care to believe, and then I found something to where a relationship with him to where I thought what I was doing was right and all these things, and then get to him and he was like, half of that stuff I told you, you thought I told you to do, I ain't tell you to do half that stuff. That's like working a 40-hour check at the wrong place. And then you find out you're not getting no paycheck. And you got bills. I don't know about y'all. I'll be heated. I done showed up on time to a job, worked the job to the best of my ability, and find out I wasn't even employed there. And still be looking for a full check. So you have to know who you're serving. There is no straddling the fence. Fences are, they have some wide fences, they have some narrow fences, but you can't straddle. Even if you try to, you still got to hold both of your hands out to have balance. So I think it's so much easier to pick a side and just stay on that side. Because if you try to run on the fence, that's going to be dangerous for anybody, male or female. And if you male, it's really going to be dangerous if you try to run straddling the fence. You're going to be seriously hurt. So it's so much easier. God didn't create things to be complicated. He created things, it's right there. And he's like, where you question, ask me. We tell our kids that. Why you do that? I don't know. Why you didn't ask? And when you ask, why didn't you listen? And when you listen, why didn't you do it? And most of the time, it's, I don't know. We say, I don't know. I've said to God, I know many times, I don't know. I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, why I'm struggling in this? He'd be like, well, I told you. And I'd be like, yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. She did offer. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And he'll hit me with, and I'll be like, I don't know. Somewhere in there, I got lost. Was I doing what I was supposed to be doing? 9 times out of 10, no, I probably wasn't. I was doing what I wanted to do, what I thought. I was telling him. And with me, majority of the time, it's me telling him what I want to do. And it's like God knows his kids. He knows what his kids are. He's like, oh, Tomeka, you want to do what you want to do? Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. And then when he pulls me back before I totally jack something up, or I commit suicide of myself, or my dreams, or my visions, I'm like forever grateful, because I'm like, oh, you ever had that moment where something you knew, you just knew you was right and you was going down the right path, and God snatched you back before you actually saw what was going to happen, and you was like, it's like running in traffic and the car almost hit you, and you like, and he's just that God that he's a nick of time. He does those things, and it's like, okay, God, I'm not gonna do that no more. Whew, Lord have mercy. And And for me, some things, it's been like, you know what, I ain't going back down that road because I don't think I'm going to make it back out. And then there's some things where I'm like, you sure you said that? Because I think I'm really good at this. And he's like, didn't I tell you trust me? And it's like, okay, but I need to know what's going on. Faith is not knowing what's going on at all times. Faith is fully believing that he's going to do what he says he's going to do. And if we feel bad about ourselves, or we feel like we're inadequate, or we feel like we're lacking, or we feel like we're not enough, or we're not this, or we're not that, that takes away the yes, God can, the yes, he will. He's going to, this, yeah, this is going to manifest. Oh yeah, I'm going to have that. Yep, yep. It takes away the yes. So we can't do that. We serve a God that's always there for us. We serve a God that's, he's a God that's so mighty, and he is so powerful that he's just wonderful in my life. I don't have to look back 10, 15, 20 years from now to see how powerful he is. I can just look at today. I can look at this moment, because there was a time I didn't have a place to stay. I didn't have a roof over my head. There was a time where I was not in my right mind. And I'm talking mentally. I'm a veteran. There are times where my reality and the world reality, we just weren't in agreement. There was a time where I didn't know if I was going to or from, to where I had sticky notes to tell me to pick my kid up from school, who my kid was, where I lived at, in case of emergency, I couldn't remember something, those type of things. There were times where I could not, and I was not able to walk to where I was in a wheelchair. There were times where I was almost dead because I dated somebody that was super toxic, and they took my son's life, but God spared my life. There were times where, I'm telling you, I didn't know if I was going to live or die. I didn't know if my heart was going to give out. I didn't know if my kidneys were going to fail. And it's like, God, why I keep going through, what did I do? What did I do? All I did, and this is from a child being raped and molested. It's like, what can a child do to go through all of this stuff for what? And someone says to me, all things work together for the, and when I first heard, I was like, man, don't be hitting me with that scripture. I'm not even trying to hear that. But what it was I was harboring unforgiveness. And I felt validated in how I feel, because I was like, can nobody tell me how I feel? Don't nobody know what I was going through. And without me telling anyone, God sent at a strategic time and a place someone to minister to those cracks that was in my vessel. And there was no shame. There was no guilt. There was no resentment. And it gave me the warmth and the love of a father with unconditional love to say, okay, so I don't need to be treated like this. And I'm okay with saying you're not going to treat me like this. And mean it. It's okay to value myself, because I'm not trash. You know what I'm saying? I am worthy. Despite what you may think, some may be wrong with your eyes, but I am worthy. You know what I'm saying? No, no, I'm not that. God says I'm this. And what he says is true, because his word is forever true. He spoke his first prophetic word in the Bible in Genesis. And people be like, well, no, the Lord said. I said, no, when he started speaking things into existence of the earth, that was prophetic. And it was his word. And it was true. And it happened. So you can miss me with that. God had to give me his word to replace with cuss words, because I would light somebody up in a boy. Okay, so yes, but God said so many great things about us that sometimes we get so busy, we miss it. And they're all in his word. All of them are in his word. And it's not just in Psalms. It's not just in Proverbs. It's not just in Hebrews. And if you really read through Luke, it tells you, Luke, he like gives you really good, juicy details, because he's like really detailed. And he gives you all these things, and you're like, man, so God, he sees me like this. He thought of me like this. Like, yeah, so I have hard days like this and hard days like that. But he said he'll supply me. Okay, where's the supply? And you ask, if you don't know where the supply is, you ask them, and I'm telling you, it will come. If you just ask him and believe it and recognize what's of him and what's not of him. So I thank God that he's a God that he doesn't forget about us. He doesn't forget about our needs. He hears our wants. He hears them, but it's his timing and his place, and it's his provision. It's never ours. And anything that's of him is never just about us. It's never just about us. And that's the greatest thing about God, is that if his people are together, no one will be hungry. No one will go without of anything. And I'm just grateful that since I've had a relationship with him, that I've been able to see that. Because my thing is, if I got $5 and you hungry, we both finna eat. I don't care, we finna buy a box of cereal and some milk, or we finna get some sandwich meat and sandwich bread. If you don't have nowhere to sleep and I got somewhere to sleep, you got somewhere to sleep. We don't wear the same size clothes. I bet I know somebody that do wear the same size clothes, because you're not gonna walk around naked. And if I know something or know someone that can help you, that's what I'm gonna do, because that's what I'm supposed to do. That's how God made it. He made us fearfully and wonderfully made, not to be selfish with what he's given us, and to be open to give with others, and to also not accept anything less than what he's called us to be and who we're called to be. Because if it's his way, none of his children will lack. And even those that don't realize that they're his children, they'll be drawn to him by the way we treat them and by the way we live our lives. So I'm grateful because he thought about me. I'm super grateful that he thought about you all today, because we all have interacted with somebody today. Somebody should have gotten something from each and every one of us today. They should have been able to see some part of Christ in us today. And most importantly, when we woke up this morning, we should have knew how valuable and how wonderful and how powerful we were this morning when we woke up and throughout our day. Despite the darts, despite the things that may have come up against us, we should remind ourselves, Jesus said at the well for the woman in Samaria, he waited for her. He waited for her. The woman with the issue of blood, he was there. So it's like the people of Egypt, they were crying out. He parted the sea for them. It's like all these things I could say, well, God, I don't know. But then it's like all these things that God's like, yeah, but yes, yes, you can. Yes, you will. Yes, you may. Yes, you might. So it's like God, we're great and we're awesome because he is, and because he's our father, and because he created us. And anything less is settling. And so we're not to settle. We're not to settle. We're not to see us through somebody else's eyes. We're only to see ourselves through God's eyes. And his thoughts and his ways and the way he sees us will keep us on a straight path to be who it is that he has us to be. It's so many situations in the Bible and things where the enemy has tricked people, where he's robbed people, where he's deceived them. And we just have to be wise to the things that he's doing. And it's not giving him power. It's just being wise of our opponent. And realizing that we're not fighting, we're fighting the opponent, and that he's actually real. and realize whose side that we're on. So I hope that what I've shared has not only encouraged somebody, but it has definitely maybe blessed someone today. If you felt like maybe you weren't called to do certain things, or you felt like, you just keep messing up, everybody messes up. Everybody falls short. And that's not a crutch either. What's the crutch is where we just lay on it. There is help. He has what you need. And there are things that there are really truly things that we're not meant to carry that we try to carry. We're truly, and we feel like because maybe we've done it before and we were able to carry it, that just doesn't mean that we're able to carry it now. So I'm just glad for the things that God is doing. I'm just grateful that when I do come together with believers, that He's placed me with in this season, that He's placed me with believers who are more about relationship and not religion, because it's so easy to get caught up. I'm not concerned about all that other stuff. I don't care if you say, Father God, in the name of Jesus, or all that. Do you know do you have a relationship with Him? That's what I'm concerned about. Do you have an actual relationship? Because you could talk about something all day and have no relationship. And so I am relationship. I love and I value having a relationship with the Father. And so I love and I am grateful to have a relationship with my brothers and sisters. And so if I have, they have. And if I don't have it, I'm sure somebody that I'm connected to, my brother or my sister, they have it, or they know how to get it. Because that's how He intended it to be. Because when I was walking around, not knowing who I was, not knowing my worth, God sent my brothers and sisters to help me. And that's how it's supposed to evolve. That's bearing good fruit. Being fearfully and wonderfully made is not caring what others think, what others' opinions are. That doesn't matter, because you're going to get persecuted for things. People going to have somebody is always going to have something to say. That's just, they got a tongue, they got teeth, they got lips. They're going to always have something to say. But you choose whether or not to let it roll off your back or not. And God will deal with them. And He surely, sure enough, He will. And He will put you in a position where you will be able to see it and be humble enough just to shake your head and be like, and keep it moving. And I know that from firsthand. And now it's like, if you stay in His will and you follow what He has for you to follow, and you allow others to help you throughout that process, when they say He will prepare a table, He sure does. And He don't serve up junk. And you will know that it's Him and that it's of Him, because you just, I don't know how to explain it, but you know that it's of Him. And it's a feeling like, it's like that warm feeling on a fall day with the cool breeze hitting your face. And you just like, it's just a breath. I don't even know how to explain it, but I couldn't imagine my life without it. I couldn't imagine my life without it. I couldn't imagine worshiping God alone and He not be there. I couldn't imagine. And the thought of me messing up to where I pull myself from that, it will grieve me until I get it back. And so He's called us to be great things, and He's called us because we're all breathing. So we shouldn't waste our breath anymore. We shouldn't waste our time on just junk, because junk doesn't Junk doesn't coexist with stuff that are of value. And we're of value, a high value, very high value, the finest of everything. So it's no more settling, and it's no more allowing the enemy to taint our thinking or taint how we maneuver, or allow the smoke screens to detour us or distract us. So I pray that what I've said was a blessing to each and every one of you. And I pray that the things that I've said that are of God, that it will manifest in your lives, and that it'll blossom. And that if I've said anything that offended anyone or made anyone feel any kind of way, I just ask that God touch your heart to realize that it's not out of anything, not of him, but it's out of love, and it's out of genuine kindness. So that's all that I have, Mama D.
Amen. Amen. This, I don't know what to say. Mute yourself, Tomeka. I don't know. Yeah. Okay. Can y'all hear me okay now? Say yes, please. I don't know. We had a little bit of echo. So I'm going to piggyback something what she shared. And this is, I don't know about y'all, but this has been home hit. And let me tell you something, this was booked at the middle of August. You guys, my lineup for this month was lined up. It was a home hit, it was needed. But I'm going to tell you this, and this is from the bottom of my heart, and I need you to listen to me and listen to me clear. Stop trying to infuse ingredients to you that do not belong to you. Does that make sense? Like, let God be the aroma of original oil out of your body. Y'all with me? Because what happens a lot of times, we try to see what we see by other people, what we see in others. Oh, I want to be like Eva. But you don't know what Eva had to get through to get where she is now. The same thing with Tomeka. You weren't there when she lost her child. You weren't there when she had to go through this. You guys don't know what she's been through to get to this place. So what we see, when people see you minister, when people see you usher in the presence of God, when they see you and the aroma, they don't know your story. They just know your now, right? So you have to stay in a place of purity. So this is what I'm going to challenge you guys for this week. All right. I want you to create a list, right here, what she's talking about. And I want you to write down, do a self-check of him and not of him. Y'all listening to me? This was good, y'all. I mean, God was speaking. I don't know if y'all were paying attention. I know some of y'all were cooking, EJ, but listen, make a list of him and not of him. Whatever is not of him, stop carrying it. Stop worrying about it. People cannot move your furniture or pay your bills. However, let me add this. This is what God told me to share with you guys. And I want somebody to put it in the notes for me. All right. Matthew 7:6. Do not give dogs what is sacred. Do not throw your pearls to the pigs. If you do, they may trample them under their feet and tear them down or tear you into pieces. So make very, very sure that you understand your worth. This is what God is talking about. He wants to make sure that we understand the worth that we are. The second one I wanted to bring up was Matthew 7:5. You hypocrite, first take the plank out of your own eye, and then you will see clearly to remove the speck out of your brother's or sister's eye. See, what happens a lot of times, we see what's going on with others, but we never self-check. We never self-check of what we're doing wrong. Our job is to make sure that we're purified, that we are holy examples, that we take care of ourselves and our stink. Not worrying about other people's stink, because if I stink, I can't bring nobody to God anyhow, because I stink. Everybody don't want to be around me if I stink. People don't want to be around me if I have a nasty attitude, a nasty disposition. Listen, let me tell you something. When I was at the release, right, and I finally got a chance to listen to, I was like, Tomeka, what are you doing here? I thought she lived in Texas. She was laughing at me. It's like, what, Mama D, what are you talking about? Because I'd already invited her to teach on tonight, not knowing I would see her at the release. It didn't dawn on me because y'all know I was getting ready. So listen, when God is speaking, a lot of times we hear him, but we really don't listen. Are y'all with me? Listen, it's one thing for us to hear what she's saying, but we're really not listening to what God is saying. What is he saying? What is he saying in this season? God is telling us, listen, I have created you to be in my image. I created you to be fearfully and wonderfully made, uniquely created. I created you like me, but you're all individually with your own stamp, your own DNA, your own purpose, your own walk, your own talk, your own way to project, your own way that you're supposed to meet. But we need to make sure that we stay who we are to Christ and not be like somebody else. Are y'all listening to me? I can't be like Kiki. I can't be like Eva. I cannot be like Bernetta. I cannot be like Deshayla. I can't be like Desiree too. I cannot be like anybody else but who God created me to be. Y'all with me? So let's not try to pick up the stuff that other people have. Let's go into the well and deal with us first so we could be like him and leave an aroma of God that is just so beautiful. It's so powerful. When we move, he moves. When we talk, he talks. When we walk, he walks. I mean, we are him on this earth. That means we got to be like him on this earth. We can't just throw it out there any kind of way. We have to do a self-check. We have to cleanse ourselves up. We have to, this is like the release all over again. I kid you not. Listen. What is of him is important. What's not of him, let it go. I keep up with some songs that, when people are playing, or when I play old school here at, on Fridays, I play old school here so I can focus on work. Because when I hear gospel music, I turn it up. I don't care who's sitting in the office, y'all. But on Fridays, my busy day. I need to focus. But y'all know, what is it? Erykah Badu, Bag Lady. Let it go, let it go, let it go, let it go. Listen here, y'all. Y'all better let some of this stuff go. You look miserable. You look constipated. Listen, if this girl can powerfully share with no hesitation, with no shame about what she's been through, based on some of her decisions, based on some stuff that she's been through, and share it freely, man, don't you know the enemy got a target on her back? Come on, y'all. Come on. Transparency is key, but you have to know when to share it and how to share it and what time to share it. Listen, we have to be fully, all right, persuaded in our own mind what we are in Christ, what DNA we are in Christ, what impact we're going to have for Christ, what we're supposed to do, what we're not going to do. Are you listening to me? Everybody has people waiting on your testimony, on your move of God, on your yes, on your obedience. Listen, stop looking at Mama D. Stop looking at Kenya. Stop looking at Deshayla. Get your own. Let me tell you something. Like me and Sean, y'all know we have this broadcast talking about the $1 trillion, Get your own. Get your own money. Get your own wealth. Get your own purpose. Get your own DNA. You are fearfully created in him. There is nobody on this earth like you and I. Nobody can duplicate it. They can try. They can duplicate it, flip it upside down, identify it. People can see that it's your DNA, but they can never duplicate the anointing that's on your life. They did not go through what you go through to get where you are now. Come on, y'all. Come on. We are fearfully and wonderfully made. And that's what I love what she said. Listen, we discredit ourselves over what we've been through. Like we're not worthy. What? Who tells you I'm not worthy? Who tells you I'm not worthy to pray for you? Who tells you I'm not worthy for me to love on you? Who tells you that I'm not worthy to be kind to you? You deserve the kindness of God because I deserve the kindness of God when I was in my lowest point. Listen, all of us should be in a place where we don't look like we've been through. Right? Right? I could write a book on the suffering and pain I've been through. Some of y'all can write a book on all the suffering that you're going through right now, but you don't look like what you've been through. Why? Because grace and mercy has kept you. He's kept you close. People looking at me and I tell them I'm about to turn 55. Mama D, you look like you're in your mid-40s. You better talk about it. You better talk about it. Listen, but that doesn't mean my life has not been hard. That doesn't mean that the trials and tribulations, because I accepted Christ and my yes is 100%, doesn't mean that the trials and tribulations, I just respond differently now. Because my heart's desire has changed. My mind has changed. I want to be a reflection of him at all times because he loved me enough in my worst that he can love me now in my best. And better is coming. I mean, I was listening to her and she was talking about how good God is and, you know, how I cannot imagine having to go into prayer and he's not there to meet me there. I can't imagine going somewhere on an assignment and I'm sitting on the plane and I'm listening to Yahweh and I'm crying on my way to the assignment because I know God is going to meet me there because I'm already with him. We're walking together. We're talking together. We live together. We breathe together. We have this love affair that we got going on, and I'm walking through the airplane listening to Tide Trib and going to be all right. And they looking at me like I'm crazy. Listen, yes, this white lady got it going on and you can't mess with me. That's how you got to be. People have to be drawn to the loving kindness that you possess. With your testimony, they will see. The way that you walk, they will see. The way that you respond, they will know. From what you used to do, you're not like that no more. Come on now. Come on, Job. You lost some things. You sacrificed. You've been through some trials and tribulation. But Job got triple back than what he lost, but he never cursed God. Don't be straddling the fence like she said. You either in or you're out. Ain't no in between, ands or buts about it. There's no in between, ands or buts about it because God is raising up a standard and a banner of love of each and every one of us. And we have to represent the kingdom at all times. No matter. Like I put in the comments, listen, nobody's opinion going to pay my bills or move my furniture. Okay. Listen, I'm not here holding no grudges. I got to be free. Why? Because I got grandchildren that are looking up to me. I got people looking up to me. People are looking at you without them saying a word, y'all. Be about the Father's business. Shut negativity down. Even if it has to do with you, you shut it down. Start meditating on the things are like Christ. Whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely. Listen, do not duplicate. Go into the well, man, where the rivers of loving kindness, the rivers are wide open. So create your list, right, of him and not of him. All right. If that means you got to purge some stuff that you're working on, you know, like, you know, flipping or, you know, just getting angry, which is, you know, life. I mean, stuff has happened. Things are going to happen. But I tell you what, when God starts moving and he starts changing your speech, he starts changing your DNA, he starts changing your mindset, I mean, people can see it on you. They don't even have to say, look at Stephanie, man. That girl done had her first workshop. That girl used to be on these streets. Now she's coming to save and lay people out. Y'all better talk about it. Are you listening to me? Listen, God can change. Listen, God can change anybody. He used the people in the Bible, the least of them, to become the greatest. Come on. Don't discredit yourself. Be in God's purpose. All right. Hey, Reggie, you got that Cash App for Tomeka? Let's make sure that we sow into her. Tomeka, put your Cash App or whatever. Put that up here for us, please. Listen. All right. We are anointed, and whatever mantle that God has on your life, if it's multiple, be obedient when to shift. Be obedient what he requires. Be obedient, but be the original ingredient that he created you to be. That's it. The best, like I always say, listen, if you're not going to give it your best shot, just don't shoot at all. Ain't no purpose in shooting if you ain't going to try to aim to make the goal. I mean, like, really, I want a 3-pointer from way on the other side, doggone it. Y'all with me? Aim to win. Aim to win in God. All right? All right. Listen, yeah, we need your Cash App. Can you type it in, Tomeka? Don't be hard at it. Please. Thank you, Tomeka. I appreciate you. Put your Cash App in here. Thank you. All right. So listen, anybody, Eva, you got anything? Because I know you're over here like shaking your head and you're rocking like this. Y'all know how Eva do. She be, no. Yeah, see, there she goes. See?
Don't be up here peeking in my room. Now I'm over here. I'm doing good. I'm
This
just
Eva, listen, y'all know how she go. Listen, there she go.
It's just a little bit warm up in here,
Well,
you know.
let the fire breathe. Go ahead. Let me unmute myself. There you go.
I'm good. Everything she said, I mean, it was just very transparent and easy to just digest and understand, especially when she talk about food. You know, we love food. I love to eat food, good food, and how it tastes. But when she talked about them 99-cent hot dogs, I kind of went left. I was like, yeah, them hot dogs, them 99-cent, them up in them pink hot dogs that turn the water pink. You know, I don't quite eat them because they just, like she said, it tastes funny. And oftentimes, sometimes when we get around the wrong people, we get around the people that don't have our mindset or don't have, it's not necessarily where we're going or where God is taking us. They can leave a particular taste in your mouth that don't taste good. So, again, what she said, in this time and season, you know, you need to be thankful for what God is doing and who he's bringing around you and who he's connecting you with. And he's sending the right people at the right time to handle your situations and to help you bring out situations and help you to get out of situations that you may not can get out of yourself. So I thank God for Tomeka tonight. I mean, just an awesome word, just everything, taking it to heart and taking it to ear. The biggest thing, again, everybody, when you grab your nugget, when you grab the very thing that was speaking to you, don't just let it sit. You got to apply it. Apply it. How you going to have seasonings and you never apply it to the meal? You never apply it to when you're cooking. So tonight, she served up a good meal. Boy, she chef boy idea. I'm telling you. I'm done that.
You talking about Chef Boyardee? You hear what she said? I mean, like, what's the name of that white guy from England? What's his name? The one that be hammering everybody, be so hard.
Ramsey.
That's it. Like, get out my kitchen. You are trying to mix up ingredients. Doggone it. That's how I swear, that's how I see God right now. All of y'all mixing up my signal. Y'all not getting the ingredients right. This is what I've given you. This is what I want you to be. You better stay in your lane and stop trying to duplicate other people. I mean, like, really, y'all. Y'all got anything else? This was good. I'm telling you, this was fire. And you know, did y'all notice that this is the second week in a row? It just felt so relaxed, like the teaching. I mean, like, it was just so like amazing. All right, you guys got any questions? Anything y'all want to share? Stephanie, Shayla. Hey, listen, let me tell y'all something. Y'all see who's up in here? Simon, you better come on and show your face. And I mean it. I want to see your head, your bald head, please. Thank you very much. Simon, I'm calling Simon. There he is. Unmute yourself. I can't hear you.
I'm here.
Look at Simon. He was with us in the hearing. Yay, Simon. Oh, Simon, yay. And then we listen. Listen, who else we got in here? Y'all see Dynasty. I mean, y'all rolling today. Okay, y'all rolling. Let me stop this here.